Struggle is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
What up, baby?
Hey, and what can I tell you? It don't get no better than this. I told y'all, like, struggle. I always tell them, you never know who's going to pull up on me.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you never know, like the guests go from everybody to everybody, So today we have somebody very, very special to the city, somebody special to the industry. Somebody special to the people around him.
Yeah, man.
A very personable person. A very somebody who is attached to their emotions.
Yeah.
And who show their emotions and who shows that they care.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, man. Struggle is here. So we're gonna have a real conversation today. Like this isn't a typical interview. First I want to thank you for being here. Could have been anywhere.
Yes,
and you decided to come holler at JG.
Yeah, man. JG in my city, man. I love it.
Come on, man. Come on. So here we go, man. So grew up in Nashville.
Born and raised.
Okay. Surrounded by music, stories, and history, right?
For sure.
Okay. So when you look back at your younger self, what did music mean to you back then, before the industry and before the pressure?
I can look back, even now as an adult, I can look back at a song or a moment in time that a song correlated with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can think back to the summer of '87. I'm going to remember a song that embodies that time in my life, whether it's a tragedy. I can still remember a song that when I hear it, it brings me back to when I was 10 and my dad was murdered, or, whatever the moment in that life was, there was always music that brought the emotion and helped me through that, either healed me or gave me the release, because I think that music is one of the most powerful things that we have in this world, one of the most precious energies that can make us feel a certain way. It can bring us out of hurt or anger, or it can soothe us, or it can get us riled up. Whatever we need in that moment, we can find a song or music that puts us in the space for that.
Yeah.
So I felt that ever since I was a kid. My mom was 16 when she had me.
Oh, wow.
There was times when we didn't have nothing in the house to eat, but she had a big old piano, and she would wake me up every day playing hymnals, and singing. And that's how she started her day, and that's how I went to bed too. That's how she finished it.
Yeah.
And even as I got older and got caught up in all the stuff and, running around with gangs and selling drugs and all this stuff that I was engulfed in, I could always go back to mama's house and sit at the edge of that piano and feel better about everything.
Yeah.
And feel that comfort. So music always had that. It was always my blanket.
Yeah. I love that. As you can see, the emotions have already started, ladies and gentlemen. I told you this would not be a regular interview, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So take me to that moment when you got that call that your father passed.
Yeah, it's crazy, and there's been different levels of it as I've gotten older. So when I was 10, I was outside playing football, and my mom yelled outside the door, "Hey, your dad's on the phone." And my dad was my hero. He'd get me on weekends when he could and stuff, but he was just an old West Nashville boy, still kind of running wild. And him and my mom had split up when I was 4, but he was my hero. He'd pull up in that El Camino or that Road Runner, one of those big hot rods, and pick me up, and I just thought he was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And so she yelled outside. She's like, "Baby, your daddy's on the phone." I'm like, "Tell him I'll call him back. I'm playing football." So I come home that night. And I remember I ran and asked her, like, "Hey, can I stay out past street lights? We're outside playing hide and go seek or whatever." And she was like, "Yeah, just stay outside." So she let me stay out super late that night. I'm thinking it's a great night. I come back in, and all of a sudden all these cars start pulling up. And they sit me down, and they're like, "Baby, your dad's no longer with us." And so, of course, I'm 10. I'm confused. I'm tore up about it. Then they tell me that it was suicide. So I automatically feel that regret that I didn't come and grab that phone when he called me. I was more worried about being outside playing football, which is, it's what I was supposed to be doing. I was a kid. I didn't know. But I sat with that regret and that pain all through my teenage years.
Right.
And it made me a loose cannon. It made me like, oh, my dad didn't make it to 30. I ain't either. You know, I had that mentality. Played with suicide a lot in my head and stuff because that's how my daddy had gone. Well, it wasn't until I was about 18 and my uncle sat me down because I was going through some crazy stuff. And he was like, boy, you know your daddy didn't kill himself. Like, he was murdered. And I was like, well, why would you tell me that and let me live with that regret? And he was like, son, I'd rather you live with regret than revenge.
Wow.
So that was like another piece of closure, right? Because then it separated all that regret and that anger. I was able to let that go. And then a couple years ago, I found out who killed him. On my aunt's deathbed, I found out that it was her. And she was like my favorite aunt. She kept me out of jail. She would make my bond. She would, you know, give me bill money when I was struggling. Like, she was like one of the greatest women in my life besides my mother and my grandmother, you know, that was always there for me. And I actually had my arm around her when I found out, and she was like dying that night from cancer. And so then that was like another moment of closure, because now I knew who it was. And I wasn't mad at her because I don't know what happened that night.
This was recently?
Yeah. So I didn't really know what happened that night or whatever. So like with him passing, there was all these different levels and these different things that I went through, you know.
So my question is, because you found all of these things out at different parts of your life, what is that relationship like with the people who you knew?
Well, I had to process that. Because the first night, you know, I'm a little angry. But then I think about it and I'm like, you know what? They had just lost their brother.
Yeah.
They didn't want to lose their sister too.
Yeah.
Whatever the argument was, they was drinking, they was, you know, and it happened. She spent the rest of her life taking care of me. There for me, you know, physically, emotionally, financially, like, you know, she was always there. You know, I could pull up on, her name is Baby. I could pull up on Baby and be like, baby, I need $20. And she'd be like, here you go, baby, I got you, you know.
Yeah.
Like, she was always there for me. So it was one of those things. It was like, I didn't knock it. Now looking back on it, I didn't knock any of them for it, because I'm like, well, they was keeping that family secret, because whatever it was that happened, which one day I'm sure I'll find out the extent.
So you still don't know?
I don't know really what happened, no. Like, I knew that I had heard different stories about that evening before finding out that she was possibly the one that did it. So, you know, he was going through a divorce. He had been out drinking and gambling. He had come home. He had won a bunch of money. He was blackout drunk, you know. So I had found that out before I knew that he was killed, because that was kind of like their thesis on why he would have killed himself. But then finding out that he was murdered, and then I found out some more details, and then finding out it was her, it kind of all made sense, you know. And it was just one of those things that, like, I don't, you know, who knows what any of us would do in that situation. You got a family secret you got to keep. And I actually commend them for it.
Right,
you know? Now they're both gone. She didn't do life in prison. And she had a rough life. Like, both her sons are in prison on death row. Like, she didn't have a fair shake at all, and she was a warrior. So I'm sure whatever happened that night, she lived a life regretting it, and she did the best with what the situation was, as we can all do.
Yeah. Wow. That is some deep shit, Struggle.
You asked for it, JG.
Bro, no, I appreciate you, but
man.
That is, and it just honestly, you know, they always say you can't judge a book by its cover, right? And even when you meet people who are very, you know, personable, some people take that for granted, you know, and the greatest gift of it is the fact that God doesn't give that to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't give everybody, the strength to be able to have that and have the strength that you have, but he doesn't give people the grace either, you know, to have the second thought of, oh man, they did it for a reason, or oh man, it was to protect me, or oh man, you always saw the bigger picture.
Yeah,
in the struggle.
And that's what got me through everything. It's like when you are engulfed in faith, right? Or when you really come to terms with yourself that everything happens for a reason. Because going through everything I went through from, being in the streets and from my childhood to being in the streets and, a gang member all my life and then going to prison for all those years, there were so many times in my life where I thought I was having bad luck and bad things were happening to me, but they all in the end became my biggest blessings.
Right.
Right. So then I got a clear view of, oh man, he's protecting me. And a lot of these things that I think are failures or losses, there were things I wasn't supposed to have anyway, or they were leading up to a greater moment.
Yeah.
So, and I really preach that when I go back into the prisons. I'm like, look, man, prison was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like I probably wouldn't have been alive, or I would have been doing 100 years with no chance of getting out if I wouldn't have got taken when I did and went through the steps that I went through of stripping down all those irrational beliefs and figuring out who I was, who I wanted to be, why I kept ending up in these situations, and really doing that self-assessment and making those changes. There's no telling where I would have been. I came home, my children were in foster care. If I wouldn't have got it right, where would those kids be now?
Yeah.
My daughter just got accepted to Wofford.
Wofford, Wofford, I know about that. Yeah.
So
I had a basketball scholarship there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, her boyfriend got a soccer scholarship, so now she's going there, and super. That's like the Harvard of the South.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The coach there, he was the coach, and then he ended up becoming the coach at Clayton State in Georgia. So when I stopped playing at TSU, I had called him. I'm thinking he's still at Wofford. I called him. He's like, oh, no, I'm over here at Clayton State in Georgia, which is on the south side.
Yeah.
I'm not from the south side, but I'm from Atlanta. So I went back home and went to go play for him. I ended up coming right back to TSU, but that's just crazy. So, shout out to Wofford.
Yeah,
you
man.
know what I'm saying?
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I just saw that ticket on it, though.
Yeah. It's going to cost you for sure.
I saw the ticket on it in college. I said, I called my booking agent. Hey, I need a tour about 200 days this year.
Yeah, no fact. Take me to prison, right? What was your welcome to prison moment?
People say a lot of times they're like, that exactly. Like, how did you feel when you went to prison?
Yeah.
It was a sense of relief, for
okay.
one. Because when you're out there in them streets and you're dealing with, drugs and everything, living that lifestyle, you're constantly watching your back from the police, robbers, whatever you're dealing with. Once I got in there, it was like, whew, I knew I was going to have to sit down for a minute. And it was kind of like, okay, now I can, of course you still got to be on your P's and Q's and be on your toes, because now you're in the gladiator school.
Right, exactly.
But it was a sense of relief, and I knew that I was going to have some time to really figure things out.
Right.
And as soon as I got in there, you see the different groups of people. You see the guys that are gambling and smoking and eating honey buns and watching TV all day. And then you see the guys that got the books in their hands and they're out there on the yard training, trying to become better. And I automatically gravitated towards that.
Yeah.
Because I was watching everything on the outside of prison crumble. I thought I had left a little money. I thought, the team was good. Everybody was great. The kids were going to be okay. And the mother of my children crashed immediately. She just started going down a dark path, started dating another guy, got on drugs. The kids were going through all this stuff. I'm calling home and having to teach my 5-year-old how to make macaroni and cheese from a jail phone because her siblings ain't ate all day because her mama's passed out on drugs. So I was dealing with all these different things, and I realized I can't control anything outside these walls. I got some homies out there, I can call them and they're going to slide through and maybe drop off a little cash, but that's it. I can't really control what's happening on the outside. The only thing I have control of is what I do with the situation and who I become from this, and that I never let it happen again to these babies.
Right.
And so I just hit the ground running. As soon as I got in there, I started losing weight. I lost 120 pounds. Got in the best physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional health while I was in there. Let a lot of stuff go, stripping all those layers away and all those irrational beliefs that we grew up to. Main thing was taking accountability, not being mad at the guy that snitched on me, not being mad at the judge, they couldn't have done what they did if I didn't give them a reason.
Right.
If I didn't, if I wasn't doing what I was doing. So
how long did it take you to get to that point though? Because I know you didn't.
Year.
Okay.
About a year of really just
a year out or a year in. Okay.
Harvesting a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And
what was your first emotion?
Like,
when somebody snitched on you.
This guy that snitched on me. Like how can I maneuver through this situation with full control instead of just letting go and letting God and saying, look, the only thing I can control is me, and how because like all that stuff, man, that you bottle up and you hold on to, that anger, that resentment, it's like shards of glass, and the harder you hold on to it, it's just cutting you.
Yeah.
I wasn't hurting none of that. That judge didn't care what I did at the end of the day. That lawyer didn't care. I'm only hurting me. So having to let go of all that and rip all that apart, because I tell the guys in prison all the time, I'm like, accountability is one of the most powerful things.
Yeah.
Because once you realize that everything that happens to you is a direct result of a decision that you made, you got full control. If you're not blaming this person and blaming that person and blaming this person, you got control of what happens to you, what you do with your day, what you overcome, what you go and get, what you accept, what your train of thought is. You have power of all that, and once you hold yourself fully accountable, then you're limitless, because it's like, okay, yeah, no, this happened because I didn't do this. I didn't put in enough work. I didn't treat this person right. I didn't, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then you put all those pieces together and you figure out how to go get it.
Yeah. How do you personally define redemption?
For me, redemption has been, of course, it's one of the biggest parts of my brand. It's what I sing about. It's what I preach about. It's what I talk to guys about. It's what I try to, it's being able to take the situation that you have and make the best of it, and affecting others around you to want to do the same, right? Like shedding that light, taking something from a dark moment and making it the brightest that you can, and making the best out of the situation. Like me being in prison, first thought, because I'm from the streets, is like it's a badge of honor, right? I did time. I was in prison. I was in this prison, that prison. Oh, which one was you at? What level was you? All that. But in reality, it gave me the power to go back into prisons and people listen to me. Because I'm like, bro, I was right here.
Yeah.
I went back into the prisons that I was in. There's still guys in there. I just did it a couple months ago. There's still guys that I was rotating with in there. The same green team, the same chapel, the same guards, and I'm looking at these guys in there like, y'all know me.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name's y'all still talk about me in here. Like, I was wearing the same clothes, and look at all this stuff I accomplished. I got my kids out of foster care. Got a couple platinum records, couple gold records. #1 Billboard. Just bought my family the biggest house we ever stepped foot in. You know what I mean? My kids are going to Wofford.
Pop it.
So it's like, and those same kids were in foster care.
Exactly.
They lost their mother to a drug overdose. She's no longer with us.
Yeah. So they struggled with you.
And that was the thing. It's like they became my biggest victims.
Right.
While I was out here like, oh man, I ain't hurting nobody. I'm just, if I ain't selling it to them, somebody else will.
Yeah.
Thinking that's a victimless crime. But then when I went to prison, I left my mama without a son, my girl without her man, my children without their father, my brother without his brother.
If you had to tell a father that could hear you, that's in prison, I know you go back to the prisons, but if you had to tell a father something about being in prison and the difference between being in prison and not being in prison, and the reasons why they shouldn't be in prison and the reason why they need to be with their family, what would be the biggest jewel that you can give them?
Your children need you. Society needs you. The world needs you. A lot of people want to complain about the state of the country right now. We're lacking good leaders, good men. Take all of that all that knowledge. Everybody that's in prison has already overcome and endured so much. Take that, own that, make that your stronghold.
Yeah.
And then use that fuel, like all that anger and resentment, let that go. Use that as a fuel to go out there and get them babies straight.
Yeah.
Because they need you. And the world that we're leaving behind, the world they have is still in our hands because we have to raise them up to change the things that we see that are needed to be changed. Right?
Yeah.
And your kids need you. Your girls need you. Your mama needs you. You know what I mean? You need to be out there. Your city needs you.
Yeah.
Like they need strong leaders to come out of prison and say, hey man, this ain't the way.
Yeah. What's a misconception people have about you that you've had to come to terms with publicly or privately?
I think one of the things a lot of people have the misconception from the outside that don't really know me is because my grandfather was Waylon Jennings.
Okay.
Right? Big country music singer, legend, the OG, the outlaw, right? And they'd be like, oh, you what do you mean, bro? You had a silver spoon in your mouth.
Yeah.
You know? Or your grandpa lived in Brentwood, dog, in a big mansion. It was like, yeah, but if you know anything about him, he defied the industry. He bucked Music Row. You know what I mean? He was the outlaw of the music industry. He never saw his fair shake on finances. Like, he had #1 record in the country, first artist to ever go platinum in country music, and was still having to borrow gas money for the tour bus to get to the next city.
Wow.
You know, and he instilled that in us, that grind. And so much that my mother was 16 when she had me, and she left his home and wanted to prove that she could do it on her own. So we lived in lower income housing. We we bounced around every 6 months, and different schools, and I had the relationship with him.
Yeah.
But my mom didn't take money from him because she wanted to do it on her own. She wanted to stand on that. And so we struggled super hard, and that was actually, it's one of the things that made me great. But it was also something that gave me a super hard life, was straddling those tracks.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting to go to Brentwood and see the nanny and the Cadillac out front and the Mercedes.
Yeah.
And then I'm going back to my reality, and the only people with Cadillacs and Mercedes are the dope boys.
Yeah.
So I always wanted what that was, but I blamed and justified a lot of it on my conditions and environment. I think that's one misconception, and then with me switching back and forth between rap and country, I was the first one mixing rap and country. Early 2000s, I started sampling my grandfather's records. We had sampled every Al Green song, every Marvin Gaye song we could, the Isley Brothers. We had sampled it all, right? Yeah. And I was like, man, I'm listening to these records, and the stuff my grandfather was saying in the 70s and 80s about getting busted by the feds for cocaine and stuff. I was like, this is what we should be sampling. Yeah. And I started sampling those old Waylon records, and it was like the first one really mixing those genres. Country music was always a backdrop to my life growing up in the South. Like, I love old country, 80s, 90s country. Like, I always loved that. But I was raised on Tupac and UGK and No Limit, and like my first tattoo across my stomach was True. At 16. So then when I started shifting to country, it was just because I had the passion to do it. Yeah. I wanted to sing some old prison songs over a guitar. Yeah. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're trying to catch this wave." I created the wave. Yeah. I'm just riding it at my own pace. Yeah. And then I think they thought I was done with rap. Because they're like, "Oh, he done dropped 2 country albums back to back." I'm still, sliding in a couple rap features here and there. Anytime I jump at the opportunity when someone's like, "Hey, we want to send you this song, or you want me to rap or sing on it?" "We want you to rap." I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." And so I think they thought I was done with it, and I'm nowhere near done with it. I did. There was a lot of things, especially in the country industry. There were people that were telling me, if you want country to take you serious, you're gonna have to back off of the rap. And I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do that, but I'll focus on country for a year and just see how I feel. Yeah. Gained a bunch of momentum. Had my Grand Ole Opry debut, shook it, but I wasn't all the way whole because my heart is so still ingrained in hip hop. Yeah. So yeah, they're getting to see the back, the bounce back. We just dropped this EP. It was like a warm up, and I was so excited to do it because I was doing it with Street Flavor. And growing up in Nashville, Street Flavor was the first label that brought hip hop to Nashville.
Right.
With Pistol and Cool Daddy Fresh and you know, Haystack and Boogie and all these artists that I grew up looking up to, you know, wanting to be a rapper when I was a teenager and watching these guys actually do it. And so to jump back in and try to grab something that had that 90s, 2000 Nashville rap sound was really fun. So much about life is based around your relationships. The people you keep around you, the people you rotate with. For a long time, I would feed unhealthy relationships for false realities, right? I said it the other day, I said, I am taking 2026 to just really focus on relationships.
Right.
My brother, you know, we live across town. He lives all the way out in Kingston Springs. He works 60 hours a week. I'm in the studio all day and in the gym, and I've got, you know, running 3 businesses, and we didn't talk hardly all in 2025. I hit him like, we got to start having an hour conversation every other day. You know what I mean? Like, I got to just block out some time. I'll put you on the Bluetooth, whatever, and let's just like building those relationships, because we're men, man, and we'll bottle it up and we go hard, and we can't let, when everything is on our shoulders and we're at war with the world, we're doing it because we're providing for our families and our loved ones, and we don't get to show them what we're really going through. Because we got to hold that in, because then they're going to feel, you know, discomfort, or they're going to feel anxious, or they're going to panic, right? Daddy ain't got it all together. So we have to move in this sense. So it's good to have those relationships, and I think relationships is one of the things that anybody going through, lean on the people around you.
Do you ever, sorry not to cut you off, but when you take long trips, do you ever just like ride with no music?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just, you know, it used to be I was always riding the music.
Yeah.
Now I'll go 4 or 5 hours.
Yes, bro. Yo.
But I need that. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I need that clarity. I need to deal with all the stuff, because when we're caught up in the moment of life, we'll push stuff off quick, or we'll justify it fast. You know, a thought comes to our head, we'll be like, oh, it's just because of this or because of that. But when you sit with it, sitting with yourself is so powerful.
Yeah. And it's crazy, bro, because like, so every time I drive to Atlanta, man, I'll literally drive like the first couple of minutes in the car, I'll, you know, have some music on, and then I'll get to like Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
I'll turn my music off, and I literally will end up in chat. It still be no music. Then I'll end up pulling into the city, and now it's like, okay, I gotta play some Gunna or something. I gotta get in my mode. But I literally go the whole trip to nothing, bro. And it's crazy how much peace being by yourself, you know, because being in the entertainment world, we deal with people all the time. You know, we're constantly trying to appease people, make people happy, and make people feel comfortable. I remember earlier you were saying it's your job as an artist to make sure somebody has the best night of their life when they come to your show. But think about how much pressure that is as an artist, right? To even have to feel that way, and to, you know, feel like the world is on you, like you can make or break somebody's life in this next hour. Let's just go to that. Like,
real quick, I want to say something before we leave this. I tell my kids all the time, they'll be like, Daddy, I'm bored. So one day you'll call that peace.
Right.
Because
because being bored,
moments,
man,
it becomes
bro.
Peace, and it becomes clarity.
And it's like, even when you, like, even when it comes to like texting people and calling people, sometimes I think I've had to make excuses sometimes of why I didn't text somebody back. But honestly, the truth was, I just wanted to be alone, you know, like, and I don't think that everybody understands that, you know, and I think that's why it's very important in relationships, especially for me, in relationships, especially when trying to find a wife, bro. It's like, I feel like she either has to truly be that peace, or she has to understand when I need my peace.
Yep.
Just because I say like I'm good right now, it doesn't mean I'm mad at you.
No,
like
for sure.
just because I say I need a moment doesn't
Yeah.
mean like you've
Yeah.
done something to me, you know. And it don't always make it like a I need a moment. Now they want to nag with you and figure out
Yeah.
why you need the moment and
Yeah.
why. And it's like I
What's
just
in
need.
women's natures to nurture,
Yeah.
right? So you have to set that standard with them and be like, hey, look, baby, I know you're all woman and you just want to nurture and you want to comfort. Right now, I need you to nurture and comfort by giving me a little bit of me time to clear my head out,
Right.
you know, and then we'll talk about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, man. So, I'm glad we can have that. If you could talk to your younger self, version of yourself, what age would that be, and what would you tell him?
I don't know, man. That's a hard question because there's been so many different levels
Yeah.
of my life and different places that I've been in.
Give me 2 moments. Give me 2 ages.
I would say at about 14,
Okay.
and I would just tell myself, let go. Let go of all that anger. You know, it's useless. It's just going to hurt you in the long run. And then I'd go back to about 22 and tell myself, don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't go back.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times that I would get so close to something great, and then I would just divert back to the streets. You know, I would just go back. I would give up too soon, and you know, the ones that truly make it are just the ones that never give up.
Yeah.
It doesn't always got to be about talent or timing or all those play a part. But if you just never give up, because until that final buzzer rings, the game ain't over. You can be down 100 points, but you still ain't lost, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can be down 100 points, but you still ain't
Yeah,
lost.
yeah.
And that buzzer ain't rang yet, man.
Yeah.
Keep shooting.
Yeah. Keep shooting and never stop. I think that's very, 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 very important because people look at the end.
Yeah.
You know, they look at struggle now, but they don't understand the struggle, right?
Yeah.
They don't understand the process. And I tell people, you got to fall in love with that process, man. And that
Yeah.
process don't always look good.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be times where you have to do things you don't want to do.
I know, because
know?
everybody's trying to climb this
Yeah,
mountain to
yeah.
get to the top.
Right.
And the view's pretty up there.
Yeah. Look good as hell.
But when you're done climbing, what do you got to do?
Yeah.
You know, it's like be in love with the journey, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just
So that's
love the process.
it's the
I love
best
it.
part about it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the people that you meet. Think about all the people that you met to get to this point,
Yeah.
right? All the experiences that you had, even the times to where your back is against the wall.
Yeah.
Like
I do my best there.
most people run from those moments, right? But then you look back and you're like, oh shit, those are the moments that give me the confidence that I need.
Yeah.
Because your back's gonna get against the wall again, And so I think it's very, very important to find people who love the struggle, right?
Yeah.
I love keep saying
Just
the
love
struggle. Where did that name come from?
It just happened like that, man. It was like, I had a name in the streets, and I was like, man, I need a rap name. I was getting into rap, and I was really trying to. I was a single dad with 2 kids, just got out of a little shorter jail bid that I did on a weed case, and was like, I'm gonna go after music, and I was trying to find a name, and my homie was like, well, you should just call yourself Struggle, man. He was like, you be going through it, dog. And I was like, all right. And then, when I met Jelly, he was like, you don't need to call yourself Struggle, man. You burning bad bread on your name, man. And I was like, no, I'm gonna keep the name Struggle. I'm gonna go through a lot of shit, but I'm gonna show to overcome it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna embody the struggle.
Did you ever listen to like DMX?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. My voice is starting to get grasped.
Yeah, it is. Yo, it is.
I get.
So it wasn't always like that.
No,
Yeah.
it always was, but it just the older you get, and the
It
more
gets, yeah.
pain and the more things that you endure in life and deal with, it definitely you can change your tone.
Yeah. Talk about linking with the Nashville legend, Sonny Paradise.
Man, dude, so I've known Sonny. To be honest, I feel like Sonny's studio was the first real studio than me and Jelly ever recorded in. And we did a project called Halfway House.
Wow.
And I think 2003, we had both just got out of jail and met and linked up. And first time I ever met Sonny Paradise, I just dropped out of high school. And I went and moved back in with my mama because my uncle Tadpole had custody of me most of my teenage years, my dad's brother out west. And because my mom was just too wild for my mama.
Yeah.
And so I moved back in with my mama at 17 when I dropped out of school and got a job at Kinko's, the copy place.
Yeah, the copy place, yeah.
And in Rivergate.
Okay, yeah,
and,
that's where I used to get my flyers from.
Yeah, and so I was third shift. I worked third shift like manager. I was the only one in the store. And I was hustling out of the store and stuff, you know. That's why I took the third shift job, because nobody was in there and I could, you know, whatever. I was bad. But Sonny Paradise came in there printing up flyers for Pistol and Cool Daddy Fresh. And, you know, I was like, man, yeah, like, I love Pistol, whatever. And we're talking, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a rapper too. And he's like, oh man, like, here's my number. And gave me the number, and then, you know, I called him a couple weeks later, got the nerve up to call him. I'm like, man, I'm calling Street Flavor Records. And they put him on the phone, and I just froze up.
Yeah.
You know, like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, man. And he was like, man, you ought to come to the studio sometime. And, you know, I was so engulfed in the streets at that time. And, you know, at that time I was like 17, before I had my first daughter. So I was, you know, I was on drugs and wilding, running around being a cowboy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. So then when I met Sonny years later, I got to tell him that story.
Yeah.
But I was recording in his studio.
Wow.
And me and Jelly cut a couple projects with him. And so he's always been, you know, like family, like, you know, a really good friend. And then I went down there. He called me up not long ago, and he was like, hey, I want you to come do this feature for this thing we got going on down in Florida. And I was like, cool, yeah, it's for autistic kids. It's a beautiful thing they got going on down there. And so I went down there to do this feature, and I walk in his little studio, and I see the big Street Flavor sign. And I was like, Sonny, that was such an era.
Yeah.
He was like, I know, man. I was like, you want to do it again? Like, one more run?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He was like, you want to do a project? I was like, bro, I'd love to. Like, let's just do like we set out to do a 5-song EP, and it ended up being 7. But I was like, let's just do like 5 songs. Let me get that good Sonny Paradise, you know, old school Nashville rap, the heavy 808 and trap snaps. Like, I need all that.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, let's do it. So we brought in, like, you know, we did some, like the song Preaching with the Choir with Caitlin Curtis, who me and her have had a platinum record, #1 together. She signed to my label. But I wanted her, she's got that soul. So I wanted to get that, like, Mary J about of her, you know. So we did that one in the vein of, like, the old Mary J record with, who was a Method Man, right? You remember that from back in the 90s?
Yeah,
I'm blanking on the name of it, but I can tell you when that song came out where I was living. You know what I mean? Like, I'm picturing that summer at the pool. But then I brought my daughter Brianna in, because she's got that real smoky bluesy. She drops some blues, and she's got that real smoky bluesy voice. And so I wanted, like, almost like that Erykah Badu feel. So we just, like, jumped in and just, you know, created something that was of that time.
Yeah.
And didn't really promote it a whole bunch. Just dropped it, see what they'd say. Yeah. And it's nothing but he's back. He's back. This is what we've been waiting on.
Yeah.
You've been holding out on us. It's like, nah, just stay tuned, baby. This is a warm up.
Yeah.
The warm up.
What's that feeling like? Just hearing people react to the music that you put out.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a feeling you can compare it to.
Yeah.
You know, I was always really took pride in my bars and what I was saying, the substance, the wordplay, you know. So to have stepped away and not dropped a rap project in 2 years, and then to come back with something. With some
MJ, he's back.
Yeah, and just to see them excited about it, like, this is what we've been waiting on,
for
bro.
Yeah.
Like, we fool with the country stuff, but man, tell me this ain't it. And I'm
Yeah,
like, nah,
yeah.
y'all stay tuned. This is we're back. So
Yeah. Talk about your relationship with Jelly Roll.
I love Jelly.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a 25-year friendship.
Right. That's crazy, bro.
I can't even begin to describe how proud I am of him. You know, he's on top of the world right now, man, and he earned it and he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that guy slept on my couch for a long time, and you know, gave me a place to live when I didn't have a place to live, and helped me out with my kids when I was in prison. You know, we built this ground up together.
Yeah.
You know, all the Waylon and Willie albums. You know, those were really pinnacle points in his career and in mine, of course. And yeah, man, I love that dude to death. He's definitely exceeded all expectations.
Yeah.
You know, to see that the bar on Broadway, to see, you know, him on American Idol, to see him just becoming a member of the Grand Ole Opry, all that, man. It's like there's not even really words that I can put into place on how much I'm proud of him. His weight loss. I know how hard that's been for him and how many years he struggled with it. Mm-hmm. And to see him shed that weight, I'm like almost fighting with people in the comments because they're like, Ozempic, Ozempic. I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, that dude did not do Ozempic. Mm-hmm. We had talks about it early on because I was trying to get him to get on one of those, right? Because I was like, it'll get the weight off of you, and having the weight off will be healthier regardless how you lose it. But he was so worried about his vocal cords because it causes acid reflux and it'll burn your vocal cords. So I know that he didn't do Ozempic. He did it with dieting and changing his lifestyle. And so proud of him for it. I mean, cover Men's Health. Like, bro, Jelly Roll on the cover of Men's Health? Like, who would, you'd have told me that 20 years ago, I'd have laughed at you. Right? But it's real, and he earned it, and he deserves it. And yeah, that's all I can really say is that I love that dude and I'm proud of him.
What's something that people think they know about Jelly Roll that they really have no clue?
I don't think the world knows half of the complexity of that man. You know, they just know the surface, what's shown. But he's really, I don't know. I don't know if I could pinpoint one thing. You know, like Jelly is Jelly Roll. And really, you know, I don't know. He's so open, so much of an open book. I think pretty much what you see is what you get. Yeah, but there's some things that personally I could sit back and think of if we had a little more time that I wish that they saw more of out of him.
Yeah, that's fire, bro. And just, I think the biggest thing is, man, even when you talk about him, you almost sound more excited for him than he might be for himself.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's the greatest part about friendship, man.
Yeah.
You know, being able for your brother to be just excited.
Yeah, I can't say his name without smiling. And it doesn't matter where we're at in our friendship. If we ain't talked in 6 months, I say his name, I have to smile because, man, I always want to give him his flowers. You know, being friends 25 years, you go through ups and downs.
Exactly.
You know, you beef, you fucking love on each other, you're back and forth, but I'm just extremely proud of him, and it makes me feel really, really incredible. It makes me feel great, and just it's so uplifting to even watch him do that. You know, it's inspiring, yes, but do I really aspire to be where he's at? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right, because that man he's sacrificed a lot. You know, in life and relationships and everything, just to be able to get that big and be that guy. You know, and he wears it well.
And people, I think that's the side of it that people don't get to really see. You know, we look at these people and we see how big they are, but it's the sacrifice.
That man walked in his house 8 times last year. Take that into consideration. That man walked in his house 8 times last year. Like, you know, that's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, bro.
When you got not only his own peace, but when you've got a family and you've got children and, you know, you got a wife, and being gone that much, you know, and for him, he's building a family legacy and generational wealth.
Right.
So, you know, they will reap the benefits.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's having to sacrifice a lot for that.
Yeah. What's next for you?
Man, I'm just getting started. It's crazy to say that 20 years in the music business and I'm just getting started, but I'm just getting started. I've got such a fire underneath me right now, man. I'm about to go back out on tour in March. I got a show here March 13th. It's going to be my album release party for my next album called Last Name. And it's at Chiefs on Broadway.
Okay.
March 13th. So we're
okay,
going to
March
turn up
13th.
for that.
Yeah. I need tickets.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I got you. We'll send you a whole pack down there.
Okay. Yeah, I need that.
But going back out on the road, and I actually stripped the whole crew down, man, to where I'm just taking the DJ, my drummer, guitar player, sound guy.
Took you a while to get there?
Well, because I've been on buses and stuff, you know, and I had 15 employees, and I was like, you know what? This year, I just want to get back in a van.
Okay.
I want to go see the world. I want to get back to that grind. I just bought my merch company back. I was in a merch deal, and somebody else was printing my merch. I just bought it back. So now I'm like back to that daily grind. Like, oh, we only sold 100 T-shirts a day. I wanted some of that tangible thing. I'm a dope boy at heart.
Yeah.
I gotta have a grind. You gotta give it. I can't just dump a bunch of money into an album that's not coming out for a year and feel like I'm fulfilling, you know, my purpose every day. So I'm really excited about this tour because I'm gonna be back. It'll be a nice van, but I'm gonna be back in a van, nicer than what we started.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be back in a van, slinging merch, showing up, you know, meet and greets, just back to that hustle, man, and stripping it down. You know, I kind of feel like the crazier the world gets with all the AI and the more the complex things get, I just want to simplify, you know, like find the beauty in the simple things and just, I want to look out that window. You get in the back of a tour bus and you sleep the whole time they're driving. You wake up in a new city.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I want to see the side of the road, man.
Yeah. The tour, but I ain't gonna lie, man. That tour life ain't sweet, man.
No, not at all. I beat myself up, especially when I was drinking.
Listen, I went on a tour, and it was like a 6-city tour. It wasn't even no real deal, like, you know, like 20 city, bro. I went on a 6-city tour. We went from Indianapolis to Alabama one time. Then we went to Kentucky. I think by like the second trip, we was going to cities. And we came back to Nashville. I was like, yo, I got to get my car.
Yeah.
I got to drive. Yeah. I'm going to meet y'all in the city. And then I'm going to leave when I want to leave. Because, bro, going from... We get to a city. You might get there at 5 o'clock. You got sound check at 5 o'clock. So you're already 30 minutes late. So what's that mean? You got to go straight to the venue. You go straight to the venue. You get off the tour bus. You walk up. You do your sound check. Oh, the sound's not working. Now we all looking around. Everybody looking crazy. We calling names. Now it's 5:45. The show started at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
People start getting indoors at 6:45. You still just got here. You haven't ate yet. So now you mad at everybody around you. You know, like, where's my food? They ain't got my sound right, and then they finally get your sound right, and then it's just something about how no matter all the bullshit that went on before the show starts, when the show starts, it's like everybody just gets in character, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like the craziest shit.
You gotta give them the best night of their life.
Yo, it's the craziest shit that I've seen, bro. So shout out to you, man, because they don't understand really even the grind of touring, bro.
Yeah, touring is tough. I did 2 years ago. I did that Jelly Roll tour.
Oh wow!
And it was
that was
85 days.
Lord,
out. It was 46 shows in 85 days, and for me to really make it make sense financially, I had to book my own shows in between those. Mm-hmm. So we were gone for 85 days. I flew home one time in those 85 days for 24 hours, and about half my band pulling back into Nashville was like, yeah, bud, we love you, man. We love playing for you, but we can't do this again.
Yeah. 85, bro, 85 days is a lot of days, bro.
Yeah.
What's your greatest tour moment? I know you had so many.
Yeah,
I know, bro.
So many,
I know,
man.
but what?
I mean, like, dude, walking out at Red Rocks, sold out, you know, or walking out on the Grand Ole Opry stage.
Wow.
I didn't have no voice at the Grand Ole Opry because it was a couple days after my birthday, and I had thrown my voice out. And I came out on that stage in a suit jacket with no shirt underneath it, just tattoos and belly out, right? And no voice. Those are special moments, family behind me. There's been a lot of moments where I got to fly my family out, and I tell this whole testimony on stage about my daughter Innocence, because she had a super rough period while I was in prison and overcame it all, and I get to tell this testimony. And one time as I'm in the middle of it, I'm down in Florida, and I'm giving this speech about her, about how, my 5-year-old daughter, she was 5 when I went to prison, and, she was drugged through trap houses and molested and ended up in foster care, lost her mother to a drug overdose, but she just graduated with a 3.9 GPA. The whole crowd goes crazy, and she comes walking out to surprise me. Wow. I had been on the road for
Did you notice she was?
No, I didn't know she was there.
Oh, wow.
And I had been on the road for like 40 days, hadn't seen any of the family. So there's been so many special moments like that, that make it all worthwhile.
Bro, you have a deep ass life, bro. And it's like you be saying shit, and it's like, sorry, but you say things sometimes, and it's so damn deep, bro, that like it goes in one ear, and then it gets out the ear, and it like rings.
Yeah.
Like rings. Like, did you just hear what this man just said, bro? How? One clearly is God, bro.
Yeah. 100%.
But like, what's your relationship like with God? Are you?
Oh, so good. Yeah. He loves me so, bro. He's pulled me through so much. I can't do nothing but give him love and gratitude every day.
Yeah, bro.
Like, I quit asking for stuff. I just say thank you, God.
Yeah.
Because even, it's been, the music business is tough. There's a lot of ups and downs. So there's been times when I'm like just on top, and then there's times where I'm like trying to figure out how we're gonna get the next album out. It's so up and down. And he always makes a way, man. And I feel like a lot of my friends didn't make it. Yeah. I buried 100 of my closest people, whether it was gang violence, drug overdoses, DUIs. I've got 10, 20 incredible close friends that are never going to get out of prison, and I was doing everything and have done everything as them, if not 10 times worse, and I know that he's brought me this far because he wants me to give that back.
Yeah.
And he's allowed me to endure and survive all of this stuff, and I don't take it for granted. Yeah. I got a song that's coming out on my new album that's like, I don't take forgiveness for granted.
Yeah.
The only way to mend a broken man is holding on with folded hands. Like, just stay in prayer, man, and just, I try to do the best that I can, be the best person that I can. He lets me know when I fuck up. Yeah. He's quick to be like, bad things happening, or things aren't going my way.
Yeah.
I got to step back and go, okay, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Or, and God is a farmer. I just had this old Indian tell me this the other day. It's so crazy. I needed to hear it so bad. He said, I'm getting some turquoise from him. I'm out in Albuquerque. This guy named Chimney. Everything he says is in parables. And he's like, he's Native American. And he's like, struggle. He said, God is a farmer. He's like, but he will not plant the seeds in grass and weed. You gotta get your field straight. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I needed to hear that. So yeah, I got an incredible relationship with God, man. Like, he's brought me through so much, and just trying not to let him down every day.
Yeah. If you had to compare yourself to one person in the Bible, who would it be?
I want to say Job.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's like, man, what else can happen?
Yeah.
I don't want to say that because there's a lot more that can happen,
yeah,
right?
No, right, yeah.
And then days I feel like David.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slay that giant, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like regardless if I'm Job yesterday, today I'm gonna be David.
Yeah. I love it. That struggle, man.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Struggle, I really, really appreciate you. Appreciate your time.
Man,
we could probably go a whole another hour, honestly. Because, I mean, it's great conversation.
It's been an honor. We're doing number 2.
Yeah, bro.
Wait till the next album drops.
For sure. Well, there it is, man. Make sure y'all stay locked in. Where can they find you?
Everywhere. Instagram, just type in Struggle Jennings. I'm going to pop up wherever.
There it is. We gone.